So, did you hear this Indian girl who is gang raped in hospital? Let's watch this whole history, and someone given it. So let's watch.
Let's do a shower makeup look while I tell you how Dr. Momita was murdered, gang raped, and left to die for speaking up about what she thought was right. Is this the right way to do this? I don't know, but this seems to be the only way I can get the word out there. So let's do this. So on the 9th of August, Dr. Momita Devnath, a second-year resident at the Rajkar Medical Hospital, which is also kind of like a college institution, was completing a 36-hour long shift. She had decided that she wanted to take a nap, and she had found herself at one of the seminar halls at her college institute. This happened in Kolkata, India. Now, you must be wondering, bro, what the hell are we supposed to do if this happened in India? Now, I'm here in Canada. Most of you watching this are probably from Canada, from America, somewhere in Europe. I want y'all to remember her name. Her name was Momita Devnath, and she was brutally murdered, brutally gang raped, violated, and probably died in more agony than any of us could ever imagine. Now, the story remains this, that the hospital she was a resident at happened to have been running a drug and a sex trafficking racket. Now, the information on this is very vague because a lot of rich daddy's boys are involved. The dean of that particular college is also said to be involved because he gave out his resignation after this entire debacle, along with other members that were involved, staff members, and even a woman that was also involved in violating and raping Momita's body. Now, to what actually was done to her. Let's read it out, shall we? From the autopsy report, she suffered an entire pelvis rupture from having her legs pulled apart. Her skull was entirely ruptured. There were 113 bite marks found on her body. The amount of semen that was found in her was way more than even like 3 men could produce at one time. Along with her eyes, they were covered in shards of glasses. Her fingernails were bitten off. So the basic rundown is animalistic kind of abuse. Even animals wouldn't do this to a person. Now to the arrests that were made. Initially, there was a police volunteer constable that's supposed to be taking rounds at the institute every night was arrested. Everyone obviously turned on him, said that, you know, you were supposed to be protecting these people. And now there is this rape that has happened in the college. Turns out he was forced to rape Momita to help frame him because these rich daddy's boys did not want to take the fall for it. One of them has already fled the country. Others have been arrested, but you know, knowing the Indian government, they're practically protecting those boys from the public. It's not about prosecution because corruption and money handling happens so often in that country. Another reason why I want you to remember her name. Now to the destruction of evidence. So since all of this coming through, the case has been handed over to CBI, which is kind of like the Indian FBI. But again, they're pretty shit at their jobs too. Now, if you're an Indian, you probably know the Sushant Singh Rajput case and the Nirbhaya cases and stuff like that, where, you know, they're not really good at doing their jobs because, you know, the second you flag a little bit of money in their faces, they forget that they have oaths that they have sworn to the country to protect people, to bring justice to people. So there's that. But yeah, to the destruction of evidence, all the residents that were involved in raping her ended up going to one of the bathrooms to obviously wash off of any evidence, clean off their hands, wash off the blood off their hands, and then proceeded to destroy the entire bathroom, the sinks, the toilets, everything. And the bathroom then got put down on hold, saying that it was for renovation, hence the destruction of very, very crucial criminal evidence. As for the principal, let's talk about him. So the principal, or the dean of Rajkara Medical Institution, reached out to the girl's family, obviously. We don't know how much, like how long she had been dead for before they reached out, but he basically reached out and told his dad that, you know, your daughter's kind of psychotic, like she had a mental break and she unalived herself. Now, he very much knew that that wasn't true, because when one tries to unalive themselves, you know, their pelvis isn't broken, their skull isn't shattered, they don't have 113 bite marks on their body, and basically gives the family no access to Momita's body for about 3 hours. And when the family finally gets to kind of see her, they realize, oh my god, like something's happened. Something really bad has happened. The fucked up part is, essentially the government, like you would think if something like this happened in Alberta, like the mayor's office would come front and be like, you know, we're working on this. TMC, which is the West Bengal, one of like their political parties, and another political opposition party, they're fighting each other, going, you guys are trying to destroy evidence, and basically using this as like a political push and pull, like a tug of war of blaming situations of like, oh, well, if we were in a power, we would handle this so much better. So you can kind of understand what the government finds to be a priority right now. Not that girl, not that girl's family, but their own political standing within West Bengal. So that's kind of the look. This is the kind of look I go for every day. Anyways, I just wanted to do it so I could talk about Momita with you guys. Final statements. Remember her. I know this doesn't affect us. There's not much we can do to help her, but what we can do is remember her. Oh, you know what? I forgot mascara. Give me 1 second. What we can do is remember her. Show her family that the support's here, because the candlelight marches will die down. The police and the media will try to cover this as best as they can. Years will go by, because the last time something like this happened with Nirbhaya, it took around 6 to 8 years to really get her full justice, and people move on, and their families are never going to move on. Whatever happened to her has already happened, and her family will never move on. Her friends will never move on. And I don't think I will ever move on. I don't know her, but I could have been her. I lived there. I could have been her. My mother could have been her. My cousins could have been her. My friends could have been her. I am lucky enough to live in Canada, where I can get dressed like this and I can go clubbing without being fearful that I'm gonna get murdered in the streets. But there's still women, multiple women out there that can't do that. So this is not only about remembering her, it's about remembering the true core of even women's rights. Because sometimes I genuinely see that the West takes just the women's movement in general for granted. It's about unshaved armpits, but there's people out there to this day that are fighting tooth and nail for women's rights, and that's what I want you to remember as I do this makeup tutorial. Remember her, and remember to fight for women's rights. Thank you.
So, of course, being a person human, even though I can say being a man or woman, how can a human do these kinds of right? It's only an act of an animal. Or those people that easily siphoned by the evil spirit of the spiritual world. We have to accept that in reality, all has a connection with the spiritual world. They are strong also, unless you can control. You are also strong if you can control. So, in my midst of healing, one time, that part of thinking how real murder or crime maker, how a person thinks, the urges, the strong manifestation itself to think and act brutally to one person really makes your veins or arteries urging to do it to someone, because it starts from here, then it connects to the whole body, the urges like that to do it to someone, and the happiness that you can feel. Of course, you have to experience it to compare. If you conquered dark, then became light, you will really experience different kind of wow. Now I prove that I am strong. I can control someone, and feeding your dark side. But later on, why is it not enough? Until you continue conquering that and accepting that you think that one you need you wanting to do those kinds of acts. Because everything is the formula is accepting to something. You made yourself free. You get from the light. Then you compared also in siphoning bad energies of others. Accepting it. Then preventing yourself also being siphoned by those bad entities or people that vampirize energy. It's more stronger actually. So let's continue. The urges to conquer those dark thoughts, words, and actions that comes in your mind. Actually, sometimes what comes in our mind is not what we are thinking. It just comes instantly, especially those acts of brutally doing something to someone. Those last, it just came nowhere. That how come that I'm thinking that one and I'm doing this time, or I'm happily thinking something, then that adapts. It's the people itself will control that part. If it allows, the evil spirit is the ones who siphoned you. Very, very much happy and winner for your part as being siphoned. Because you already are being controlled. Everything is being controlled by the spirit world. Sometimes we think of us, the evil spirits, is just a toy. As other people thinks that their own fellow are their toys, especially those who are rich. It said that rich kids or rich personal who did that one. If you think that you're strong in doing that one, no, just make yourself on the same spot for the crime that you did, because we already know is what is bad and good. Yes, corruption is there also because they already known that part, but there's no action that's being done by the government itself because it is already spreaded. The local police. It's common sense that it's a crime. And I'm sorry for the parents and the family. Don't worry. God says He is on the, I can say, when she will be incarnated, next life will be beautiful. Won't experience those kinds. Maybe she will stand for the change So my intuition is sparking today. I'm hearing, I love you. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. I'm happy. And of course, let's continue what I'm talking about, that she will be the curse that always comes a cycle, because the woman says that it's like a routine, that it was done before, but again it was done, because that is real. If it started from a community, from a country, all will be affected. Example, I know a place from this year. The gaps is only days or weeks or months. It started from murder. Next, it started from an act of killing yourself because of third party problem. Then after that, an act of brutally, not killing someone, but a rumble that happened while having fun in a bar. And after that, one person jumped, then he hold the other person. Of course, they both fell down in a two-story building. Then after that, I don't know what happened in the next. Well, it's like continuous cycle that happens. If the evil spirit, the demonized spirit, can siphon someone to synchronize of what they wanted, it will happen. It will manifest. But if one person started a change, then act that change. Then another person synchronized with that one person that started. Then another third person, until fourth, fifth, until all will accept that change. That's how a contract also is. How to cut the bad cycles or matrix that always happening in this world. So let's don't stop praying for our own self, family, friends, others, our countries, and other countries, and all over the world for the good change that will come. Because if we started, then we forgot, then nothing will happen. We just continue, 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 and give that hope, the beautiful change that we wanted. As people that want peace and no war and no crimes, it will happen. It will manifest. So maybe he's the last one. She is the last one to cut that crimes and the tongue, I can say, or the language, English, etc. That will cut that routine that always the crime routine that was always happening at your place, at your country, in every country. Because real, if you won't accept one another as being male gender or woman gender, one of the gender will be a rare one. If we won't accept one another's importance, because this is also real, a fate of a woman is getting dangerous. So don't wait that it will manifest, that woman will be gone. I thought being a man needs women in their life. That's mostly this man's problem, right? You're going to talk about a single man. Only few that will say, I'm happy being a single man. Most of the time, women can stand for and be courageous and be confident to say that, I'm happy to be single. But men, they always say, I needed one, but I don't know how to get one. To have a partner until I am gone in this earth. Real. Well, being in the rich state also. I guess this 2024 really is making us to see that some rich people doesn't deserve their status in life. So it's getting reversed also. So started from this 2024, this coming years in future, the ones who will perspire already is those who knows humanities, those who can balance, respect human, understand the life, and knows how to give, I can say, and don't forget why their state of life went up because of hardship, because of their pursuance or perseverance, etc., to get from that life that you wanted. As being a woman, let's not put insecurities or jealousies or hatred one another. Let's help one another, even by praying. Because real being a woman also, that insecurities that we project one to one another or to each is strong. The seeking of validation to something, the things that we hatred, maybe we really need to accept those kinds of this those bad qualities and manners that we have. Our life, if we came from a poor family, as being a woman, then we can free from ourselves in seeking validation from men. So they themselves will stand from their own selves. Because it's a routine also that every time a men do like that, like this, etc., it's like in our head, it's not heavy. The culture itself also, the toxic culture of this world, that men is the number one gender in this human form. We didn't think of the equality of both gender. We didn't respect. For me, yes, I accept that because of their crimes or their maturity state, I look down on them. But as you accept it, the energy itself synchronize and just move on at that kind of feeling and understand something, that why persons, men are like that. They're just there also to pray for their maturity stage. Because reality, the real masculinity of men is getting lost. They think they are masculine if they can do this kinds of etc. Especially crimes. They think they will be known as men and strong if they can conquer someone through those kinds of, or especially a woman, submit to them. Only few masculine energies accepted in 100%. Like we can say, we compare it from 100% all over the world. Only 10%, I can say, that accepts through their energy, even though they don't understand something, but through their acts, on how they act towards women, on how they think about towards women. Well, I think this is enough. It's long. So my point here is, let's not put hatred in one another, but respect. And of course, if you conquer that darkness, it's the if you want to feel real strong, well, I advise that you conquer that darkness that happening in here and in here. What's happening in your life, in the situation itself, the urges that you cannot understand. Then you will be free. In that part, your energy is eternal, I can say. Like the eternal life. No one can destroy it. If it's negative, the self itself will make that negative to positive. As it says in the Ten Commandment, I mean, love your neighbors as yourself. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, click the notification, comment if you want, and share so my next videos.